I'm Ali,
I'm Deb.
and we're the host of Connected Conversations, the podcast to help you find more ease, flow, and harmony in your life.
Hello, I'm so excited. We have a new four-part series for obviously February. Are you feeling the love yet? It's a romantic month. It can be a tough month because there's a lot of focus on relationships. And I know I was single for about, it seems like an eternity, a decade, however, probably 7 or 8 years. So Valentine's Day was sometimes a little lonely, so I made the best out of it. And now that I'm in partnership, it's got a different meaning and it's really honoring that person. So for the month of February, stay tuned because we'll have different topics about love, self-care, Valentine's Day, honoring your partner, and most importantly, how do you keep that love alive for the rest of the year? Because it shouldn't just be a day or a month. Love is everywhere, love is easy, and love is all the time. So, Deb, let's talk about partnership, relationship specifically right now. And how do you honor your loved ones, or how do you feel honored?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is making decisions in my day to day that support my relationship. So I like to ask myself, is this decision going to help my relationship or is this decision going to hurt my relationship? And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about like my interactions with people um and opportunities that might come my way, or being invited out, and is this going to support my relationship or is it going to hurt it? So I think that's one thing that I really like to take into consideration. I don't know in the past whether I've made all the best choices when it comes to that. So I think that's really important. Like, you know, in the world of social media, I think it's so easy. You might get that guy, girl from a long time ago pop into your inbox, and you know is that going to help my relationship? It's different if it was like a maybe just a friendship, and can you be open and honest about everything that you are doing on the day to day with your partner? Because if there's a one thing that you can't tell your partner, why is that? So does that support my relationship? So I think that's one big one for me. How about you?
So I would just say, like, for really, it's like that honesty piece. I think honesty is huge, and sometimes with conscious loving, it's the micro honest moments that mean the most. And I love that you point out, like, are you withholding information? And why? Like, what's the reason behind? Because it would be hurtful, or you're not sure how you feel about it. And for me, honoring, it's the first thing that I thought of is sometimes like understanding what my partner really wants for him, and not necessarily it's all about me and this is what I want to do and I like to do this and let's do this. Because for myself, I'm a great idea maker. I love to do so many fun things. However, I also recognize Nick is a very different person in that retrospect, and he's a little bit more low key and his interests are very different. So honoring him sometimes is like going sailing. And I don't like, I enjoy sailing. Is it my go-to favorite thing? Maybe not all the time. However, it's really important to him, and it's understanding what adventure means to him and where he likes to navigate, or listening to that conversation about investments and where the market's at, and it bores me. It's important. I understand for those financial wizards out there, it's important and I invest. However, listening to it, and it's just sometimes I'm like, okay, because he honors me in the same way. And it's like, what would I want? Because mindset and flow, like, he takes advantage of it and he's learned from me. However, his emotional capacity of interactions with people is very different than mine. And he does that same. So it's honoring. It's like maybe looking at, like, what do I want? And am I giving that to someone else? That's really important to me. So if I want someone to listen to me and be heard, am I doing that? Am I reciprocating it? And as well, like, things that are really important for me, am I doing that for my partner as well? So am I honoring what they want despite what it may cost me in the short term? because at the end of the day, it's a partnership. Like we're in partner together. And I look at those areas or those acts of service as an investment to my relationship.
I love that. I love the open and honest communication. I think that's key for any relationship, really. But being able to be vulnerable too, and just hold that space for your partner, I think is super important. And I know, that's not always the easiest thing to do when you're in a relationship, is to really open open all of yourself up to that person. And I think that really leads to like a deeper, profound love, I guess, if you will. So I think that's super super important. And I love how you talk about passions and really supporting their passions, even though, I love the fact that Raf is not the same as me because I'm sometimes a little woo woo. So I like that he's super scientific and nerdy. And, although, yeah, like you, he watches a lot of YouTube videos on, well, it could be anything really. But yeah, on things that I'm not super necessarily interested in, but I'll sit there and watch it with him because he likes it. He's really through his health journey has watched a million YouTube things on health and wellness, and like he is so specific. Like his watch tracks his heart rate, tracks his sleep patterns, tracks like everything. Like I think he sent me a graph yesterday, and like I didn't really look at it, but I know he really likes it. So I'm like, okay, well, that's either good or bad, or I don't even know what he told me, but it is supporting those passions. But I also learn a lot from him in that respect too, like stock markets and stuff like that, and how he runs his business and having those conversations. But he also really learns from me too. Like he meditates now, and he's open to the more energy stuff that I do and the hypnotherapy stuff. He's like super interested in that. And, there is scientific research around Reiki and some of the stuff that I do. So he's, although scientifically involved in it, but he's open to it. And I learn from him, and I think he learns from me. And I think because he's so nerdy and I'm so kind of spiritual, we really balance each other out that way.
I agree. And it's kind of that old saying, like opposites attract.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do believe that to be true, and opposites in the fact that like it's okay that we have different interests. However, what I have found throughout a lot of my relationships, it's attracting people with a similar value set. It's attracting people that, like, to me, if like a growth mindset is important, like both parties are growing, and it's that respect. I think honoring, to me, I would correlate that to, it's like having a respect for the partner, and that's beautiful. So do you do anything for Valentine's Day, or
Yeah.
any ideas that you would want? Like what would be important to you to feel honored on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I think time is probably one of the most precious gifts that you can give someone. So I don't need, don't get me wrong, like I would love the red carpet and, the horse and buggy, whatever. Um, I'm kidding. But
And
I think
diamonds. I want
and
diamonds, red
diamonds
carpet.
and yes, what and gifts galore. Um, Really, I just like we're both foodies, so just a really upscale romantic spot would be perfect. And I love cards. I'm the best card picker outer. I always find the perfect card for the perfect, or else I won't give a card if I can't find the right one. But just something thoughtful and meaningful that you've taken time to, I don't know, celebrate our relationship. But yeah, I think a nice dinner out would be perfect. And yeah, I think I'm not too picky in that department because I really do think that you should be doing these things on not just one day of the year, but you should be doing all these things throughout the year. So, we often go out for dinner because we love trying new foods and stuff. So I don't think it needs to be one day of the year, but yeah, I would like a nice card or something thoughtful would be nice. Flowers might be nice. He's never given me flowers, but we're more experienced people. So, a tasting menu would be perfect.
The perfect tasting menu.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch this just
Yeah.
in case.
I know. Let's put that feeler. He does watch our stuff. So a nice tasting menu with a nice card, maybe some flowers. What about you?
Um, I love all holidays. So as much as I can say, and I truly believe that love is every day and it's spreading everywhere, and to keep up the romance, and we'll talk about that near the end of the month. However, to celebrate a certain day, I think is important. And I think to me, it gives an excuse to do something different and special. I love spontaneity, I love adventure, and I do love to celebrate. So even though it is Valentine's Day, if you want to call it a Hallmark holiday or what have you, I'll still eat it up and I'll have the candy. And it goes back to my spontaneity and adventure. So when Nick and I first started dating, it was very new and fresh. So he drove up from Toronto and I was just north of Toronto. And we had breakfast because when this kid's in schedule, that's all like we could squish in. And it was really, I thought, thoughtful for him to come up. And at the time, it was in Barrie and it was a beautiful, beautiful snowfallen day. And on the lake at Barrie, you can walk on it in the winter because it's all frozen over. So as we're walking along the lake, it's beautiful. Again, spontaneity. I have this idea. And if anyone knows a man with an idea, like he has to process the idea and then he wants to provide that idea. However, with Nick, usually there's that moment of like, are you serious? Like, this is what you want to do? So I had this idea. It's like, what happens if we went out on this beautiful snow-covered lake? Because it's like just gorgeous. I'm like, and we drew a huge heart so everyone can see, and then just spread love everywhere. And he's like, what? So that's what we did. He's like, how do I do this? We had our snow pants on, we're out there. I'm like going down a hill to get there. And he's like, what is this woman? She wants a heart. So we ended up going in the snow. He followed behind. We did this huge, huge, huge heart with our feet and we went over it. And from like the road, you could see this gorgeous heart in the snow. And the rest was just flesh. It was a beautiful day. And as we were walking, people are like, did you see that heart? And it was just this moment of Nick was like, wow, we did that. Like just spreading the love. So I love a little bit of adventure. What does Valentine's Day look like for me? It's hard to say. I think that I'll let an opportunity present itself. I love cooking dinners. Cooking has been a newfound love of mine, and I love quality time. Quality time is my love language. And that could be just a gift if you don't know your love language, or that's something that you've heard and you're not sure. We'll put a link in our information of discover what your love language is, because if your partner is speaking one way, like of gifts, and that isn't really meaningful because you love quality time and you didn't get that quality time, you might not feel that same love. So when we're talking about honoring, like Nick knows that quality time is really important to me. So the fact that we were spending the morning together, we went for a walk, made a heart, had some breakfast, like that was quality time. That meant more to me than some flowers. However, some women, if they missed out on those flowers because of like gifts, that could be like a little bit of a heartbreaker. So it's understanding yourself so that you can create the experience or set that intention, or tell your partner, hey, like I want to do this, like have a great ask. This is important to me because it provides this for me. So it's that language too of like, if you want to honor it, like maybe honor yourself first, of understanding what's important to you so that you can communicate that to someone who's close to you, who just wants you to be happy. I think that's important. Like, I know the great men in my life just want me to be happy. And that's like me to communicate, like, what would make me happy.
Absolutely. And I think, I think when it comes to Valentine's Day or any holiday really, I think there's a lot of people out there that are thinking that their partners are mind readers. And I'm
Mm-mm.
here to tell you that they are not. So you have to be able to communicate, what would make your Valentine's Day super special? Or, it is that communication factor again. What do you need? And your relationship becomes stronger because of it. In this moment, I need. And I was never good. I was never a great communicator in my marriage and subsequent relationships. I would say I did not do that, but I can say now I do that. I really believe that, yes, I would love it sometimes if he could read my mind so I don't have to tell him. But in the end, it makes our relationship stronger because we are able to have those conversations and I'm able to express my needs so that he knows. And then he won't do that again or not do that again.
You know what, men need a different reminder. Like our brains work differently. We're wired
Yeah.
differently. We want to get down to biology, and that could be a whole other conversation. However, like a man is very single focused, and we know that they're not great multitaskers. Let's not hate them for it. It's just the way their mind is working. They're not misbehaving. They're simply just working their own biology. I think that's part of the understanding. So maybe give them those extra reminders, like because we're okay with someone telling us once and we remember it because that's important, they might need a few extra reminders, even that, like, hey, like it's Valentine's Day next week and I'm thinking this. And then a few days before, okay, remember it's Valentine's Day. And if it seems like a lot, because I think I used to be like, and why should I keep on
Yes.
reminding? It's like, well, do I want to be right? Or do I want to have a beautiful relationship? And since I've kind of like surrendered to that of like, you know what, maybe his mind just works completely different and he needs a few extra reminders. If I give those like few extra seconds of reminders and I get exactly what I want, then I'd rather be right about maybe he just needs a few extra nudges. Like, am I like, do I want to fight that battle today of just being right about, oh, I told you once. So it's like for myself, what I've learned, it's like, and that could be for birthdays. However, for Valentine's Day, it's like, hey, like the week before, a few days before, make it important and just like set someone up to win. And again, like that's a different concept of like our minds work very differently. So if you know you have someone who is very forgetful, write a note if he's a texter or whatever, because again, like I truly think if you have a great man in your life, he does want you to be happy. So honor him by supporting him, and that might be an extra reminder. So I got to figure out what I want to do for Valentine's Day now.
Like if you're looking for diamonds, you're gonna have to start opening magazines, leaving them around the house.
Put it on Alexa. Hey Alexa, I want a diamond for Valentine's Day, and then it'll trickle throughout the IPs of the house.
Actually, I should. We have a shared calendar just to, if I make reservations or make plans with friends, I just put it in the calendar so he knows, so he sees it. So yeah, I might have to pop some things in there for a couple days before prep for Valentine's Day. Next week, make a dinner reservation.
My favorite flower is right now white roses.
I love it.
Not the yellow ones. I like the white ones. Anyway, I think that's great. I think that's honoring someone and just going the extra mile. There's so many ways. And first of all, like honor yourself. What do you really want? And what will make you happy? Because I know that like if I want to be true to my soul and be authentic to what would really make me happy, it's my responsibility to disclose that. And at least give like you say, like we're not mind like I'm not a mind reader. I can assume. However, like that's not like that's a it's like a black hole. Like we don't want to that could go any which way.
You're almost setting yourself up for success, right? If you are just assuming that he knows what you want, you're almost setting yourself up for disappointment. Sorry. You're setting yourself up for disappointment if you're not communicating what you want and what you need. So I love you have to honor yourself first before you can honor anyone else or before anyone can honor you. So I love that little tidbit of information because you have to honor yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So on that note, we will be back next Thursday with another episode of Connected Conversations. And don't forget to kickstart your Monday mornings with us live at 8 a.m. Eastern. We will see you then.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share with your friends and rate and recommend on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. There will be links to more great resources in the description.